Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So let's continue the class. Yesterday, what I just gave you the introduction, or we talked about something about data. What is database? What is SQL? Correct. So I hope that points is clear for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So as I said, database is nothing but the collection of data where we store all our data inside the database, and we will use SQL. SQL is nothing but it is a language which we use to communicate with the database, right? By using SQL only, we will communicate with the database. We'll try to ask database by using SQL language what we want, like what is our requirement. As we are storing data in the databases, what kind of data we want to view, what kind of data uh, you know uh, SQL should display, the database should display every requirements we will convey to database by using SQL language. Okay, and as I said, in the data in the databases, first we will create the tables, and like this. Suppose this is an employees table. This is my table name. This employee ID, employee name, and salary will be my column names. Employee ID, employee name, and salary will be my column names. And inside the columns, I will have some row data. Right. This is the complete information of a Raj, employee ID 1, Raj, and salary. This is one a data row, right? This is called as column, and this is called as row. So table consists of rows and columns. We will store inside the databases. We will create tables, and we will store data inside the tables in the form of rows and columns. Okay. So hi Priyanka, is this your first class?
Uh, yes, ma'am. This is my first class.
Okay. Hi, let me just introduce myself quickly. Yesterday also I took a demo, but I gave a small introduction of what a data is, and in real time how we are using data. Nowadays we are using data a lot, right? That is what I just
Yes.
explained briefly. So before that, let me introduce myself. I'm Divya. I'm having about 7+ years of experience into data analytics. I'm working as a senior data analyst in one of the MNCs in Hyderabad. So, and I'm having I completed my master's in data science, and I'm having about 4+ years of experience into training. I have experience in teaching subjects like SQL, SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, statistics, and machine learning. Okay, so this is about me, a small introduction about myself. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So Priyanka, uh are you from IT background? Do you have basics of
Yes,
SQL?
yes. Yeah, I am from IT background. I have did my master's in computer application,
Okay,
and I am working with Infosys as a Java developer. And
okay,
I have a good knowledge in SQL, but I joined this class because that it's mentioned that it covers the real-time databases with the SQL.
correct,
So for
correct.
that, yeah. So for that, I am joining this course.
Okay, great. So you have some knowledge on SQL already, right? You know the basics of SQL, I
Yeah.
guess, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, done. So hi Neha, I think this is your first class, right? I'm not sure whether Neha attended yesterday's class or not. Anyways, yesterday I just gave a small introduction about the database and SQL. I explained about what is database and what is SQL, and we discussed more about the data, how in today's life how data is how much of data we are generating in every day, and how we are related to the data. That is the reason, as we are generating data a lot, we need a perfect management, perfect systems to store that data and maintain that data, right? That is the reason we will learn all these concepts called as SQLs, databases. As we are generating data a lot, we need databases to maintain that kind of large data or big data, I can say. Correct. So I just spoke about that yesterday in yesterday's demo. Nothing much technical. I just I gave some real-time examples to make you understand how we are involving with the world of data nowadays. Okay, then I gave a small introduction about what is database and what is SQL. As you all know, database is nothing but collection of data where we will store a data inside the databases, correct? And SQL is nothing but, if you the full form of SQL is structured query language, and it is a language basically which we will use to communicate with the databases. Okay, so as we are storing data inside the database, there should be something in between, which we will use to communicate with the database, right? We will have so many requirements, so we should have one such thing in between, which helps us to communicate what we want to the database, like, whatever requirements we want, what kind of data we want, all those requirements, our requirements, to to communicate our requirements to the database, we will use a language called as SQL, I can say. Okay, that is SQL. So again, inside the databases, we will store data, as I said, right? But we will store the data in the form of tables like this. This is one sample table, I can say. Table name is employees, and we have 3 columns in it: employee ID, employee name, and salary. And inside the columns, we will store the data, right? That is, we'll have columns and rows inside the table. This is very basic points. I hope most of you already knew it, correct? So now the point is, as we have already previously we don't had this much of data, correct? So at that time we may used, previously years ago, we used everything in the files only. Before computers came into existence, we maintained the data in the files. Then computer came into existence, and we tried to save our data in the computers in a kind of Excel files and all. Now, as generations going on, and as software is developed a lot, lots of digitalization happened. We are using a lot of smartphones and all. So with this, data is generating a lot, and as the data generation is became is became a as we are generating data a lot, we will use databases. So if anyone asks that, we can store that data, and as already we are storing the data in the SQL form, then what is the need of databases? In the sense, we'll have many challenges if we store data in the Excel form. Okay, so our next topic is that I will explain about the limitations of Excel. If we store data in the form of Excel, what are the limitations we have, and how we will overcome that limitations by using databases. Okay, and after that, I will show you the user interface of MySQL. In this course, I will teach you the tool called as MySQL, as I said yesterday also. So MySQL, we have many tools, of course. SQL is one of the universal declared language. Out of this, in that SQL only, we'll have many tools, maybe like MySQL, SQL Server, right? Previously, we used to have Oracle SQL and PostgreSQL. Like that, we're having many SQLs. So what these are basically many tools which we will use in the market, in the current world. But whatever tool may be, we will learn SQL as a subject. Okay, this we will, all the concepts which we learn inside the SQL only, we will use these tools to write the SQL queries, I can say. Something like, it is kind of, in smartphones we have many companies, like, right, maybe iPhones, maybe if I talk about Android phones only, we have many companies like Samsung, OnePlus. In the same way, the concept will be same, but these are different tools which we will use to use that concept. That's it. Okay, so here the reason why I'm explaining MySQL is that that is an open source platform. First of all, open source platform in the sense, this is a product from Oracle. So to maintain MySQL servers, any companies, whether it may be startups or big companies, they no need of paying, and to maintain that databases, no need of paying to that Oracle. This is a product of Oracle, MySQL, and Oracle SQL is a product of Oracle. SQL Server is a product of Microsoft, like that. So to maintain MySQL, any companies, if they are maintaining MySQL servers or databases, no they are it is an open source that is freely available for everyone, no need of making any payments to the Oracle. So as that is freely available nowadays, most of the companies are using MySQL. That is the reason we are explaining the concepts by using MySQL tool. But again, What if you learn this course? That is, I will teach everything very practically by using real-time database, that is Netflix database. So if you learn that, all these are same. Okay, all yesterday, as I said, we have something called as RDBMS, and all these tools will work on the RDBMS only, that is Relational Database Management System. So if you learn MySQL, you can be able to handle all these things. Okay, everything is same, no change, all the syntaxes will be same only. Okay, so this is about it. Now I will ask you only to what should I take now? Like, what concept do you want me to explain? Do you want me to explain the limitations of Excel and how we will overcome that by using databases? Or directly, do you want me to show the user interface of MySQL, and directly do you want me to go to the technical part, like how we will create databases, tables and all? It's up to you.
Ma'am, you can give a quick brief on limitations of Excel.
Okay, quickly I will say that. That's great. Quickly I
Yeah.
will say and I'll go to that. That will be great.
Yeah.
So yes, I hope you can see my screen. Yes. So this is some data. Randomly, I store some data like this. Okay. I can say, just imagine that if I am selling any products or any we have many e-commerce websites like Amazon, Flipkart, right? For all those e-commerce websites, if they are selling any products, they will store the data in this format only. I mean, they will use this columns only to store the data. Okay, so if imagine that I'm selling some products and I stored the data in the form of Excel file. Here I wrote, I just given only 8 rows here, that is 8 data. Observe my columns. This is order date, customer ID, customer name, address, product ID, product name, price, supplier ID, supplier name, and manufacturer name. Okay, basically whenever I sell any product, one order ID will be generated, right? That is this column, and on which date the customer has bought, that will become my order date. These are some customer details. Then this is my product details, product ID, product name, and price of the product. This is the supplier details and the manufacturer name. Okay, so in any of the e-commerce websites, if we sell any products, the data will be like this. Okay, so I am, if imagine that I store the data like this in the Excel file, then what is the problem we will get? What is the limitations we'll have in the sense? The first and foremost limitation is that data size. Okay. The first and foremost challenge we'll face if I store the data in the form of Excel is that I can say data limit. Excel has a data limit. Okay. That means I can store up to 1 million records only, or 1 million rows, I can say, like this will be one row of my data, right? Like that, in Excel file I can store up to 1 million records only, or rows is also called as records. Okay, so if I store the data in the Excel file, my first limitation is that I can store up to 1 million rows only. If we talk about Amazon or Flipkart, they will sell many products on daily basis, so obviously they cannot handle all those data in the form of Excels, right? So if my data is large, then I cannot use the Excel file because it supports me to enter only 1 million rows. Correct, this is the first limitation, I can say. And the second limitation is performance issues. Okay, if I store data in the form of Excel file, the second limitation will be performance issues. That means you can see I just store 8 rows here. Okay, so what if I store some 1,000 rows or 2,000 rows in Excel file? I will face some performance issues here. To open that file only, to load that data only, it will take some time. Correct. So in in Excel, I can say as data increases, performance decreases. Okay, this is a common or I can say the basic problems of problems which we will face while using Excel. First is data size. We'll have data limit up to only 1 million rows. We cannot store more than that. And however, we will increase the data. However, I'm going forward, keep on writing my or entering my data in the Excel file. As the data increases, performance will be decreased for me. I will get some performance kind of issues. And these two problems we don't have in the databases. Okay. And I will discuss on that point also. First, let me discuss on the limitations. And our next third limitation is that accessibility of the data. Okay. Here, if imagine I stored some 2000 rows in Excel file. If I want to access any particular row, then I need to apply a lot of filters here. So of course I can get what I want, but I need to perform lot of filters, and whatever I want to access to get that, it will take some time, or I need to keep some efforts to get that data. Whereas whenever we use databases or SQL, whatever data we want, we can retrieve that data very easily by writing some syntaxes. Okay, once we execute our query, it won't take much time. It will just give us the outputs very quickly. Okay, so to access my data here in Excel file, I can face the challenge of if I want to see any particular data, I need to apply a lot of filters over here. Okay, and next, this three are, I can say, some basic challenges, but the next and important challenge is that data redundancy and wastage of memory. These 2 points, these two limitations are, I can say, linked with each other. First, let's understand what is data redundancy. Here, if you can see, I stored the data in the form of Excel file. So just observe, is the supplier name or manufacturer name. Here my data is repeating again and again, right? If you observe my 8 rows of data in my supplier name, I have only 2 suppliers basically. One is Om Traders and the second one is AM Traders, correct? In a manufacturer name also, I'm having only Samsung and OnePlus, but it is repeating again and again, correct? So what if I store 1,000 rows like this? Imagine I have only 2 suppliers for my company, but I sold some 1,000 products. If I keep on, if I want to store that data in the Excel file, I need to write home traders again and again and AM traders. Only 2 names, but I need to write in all the 1,000 columns. Correct? So if we store the data in the form of Excel file, the data will be repeated. Okay, data repetition we can observe. That is nothing but we will call it as data redundancy. Data redundancy in the sense repetition of data. Okay, so if I store data in the form of Excel file, just imagine if Amazon is storing the data in the Excel file, how, like, how it will happen. Maybe that Amazon, it just sales so many products on daily basis. Maybe they sales iPhones on daily basis, like many thousands of iPhones they will sell on the daily basis. They can't keep on writing iPhone, iPhone, iPhone every in every column, right? In every row, right? So that, if we store the data in the Excel file, obviously for each and every row we need to write the data. That will leads to the repetition of data, and in with respect to that, as I am repeating the data, my memory will also get wasted, right? I'm wasting my memory by using the same or by writing the same data again and again. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is one of the biggest issues which we will face in Excel. So to solve this problem in SQL, how we will store data in the sense, let me show you quickly. So I'll just use that data at the bottom. Okay, so suppose this is, I can consider this as my base column. Okay, here I'm having my order ID, I'm having my order date. Okay, I'm having customer ID, customer name, and customer address. Instead of storing complete data in one big, here what we are doing, we are just trying to store the data in every column in one go in Excel file. in databases, what we will do, we will store, as I said, we will store data in the form of tables, right? In databases. So we will create separate tables out of this one, just imagine is this as a one big table. Instead of storing like this, I will just divide this data into multiple tables, and I will store the data in multiple tables. Okay, let's see that. Suppose I'll write it here. I'm creating one table called as customer details table. Imagine. Okay. I'm using customer details table here, and I will keep this 3 columns over there. Here, customer details in the sense customer ID, customer name, and customer address. Correct? I'll just copy this. I'll paste it here. Okay. This will be my one table. Customer details table will be my one table. Okay. What I'm doing, I'm just creating one separate table. Just imagine in SQL, we will use syntaxes to create the table, but just imagine what we will do to, get rid of this data redundancy and wastage of memory problem, which we are facing in Excel. To get rid of that, what we are doing in SQL, we are basically dividing our data into multiple tables. My first table will be my customer details table, and I will store all the customer details in this table, that is customer ID, customer name, and address. Okay. So now I will remove customer name and address from this table. Okay, but I'll keep customer ID as it is. Now I will explain why I'm keeping customer ID as it is only. Okay, this is my second table. Now I'll create another table for products. Okay, then my table name will be like products details table. Okay, and I will keep product ID, product name, and product price in that table. Okay. So as I'm keeping already the product name and price there, I'll remove this from here. Okay. In the same way, I'll create one more table called as supplier details table. Okay. So I'll just copy this and paste it over there. Just imagine randomly if I'm doing like this, I can remove my supplier name and manufacturer name from here. Okay. So what I did, instead of storing my complete data in one big table, what I did, I just divided the data into multiple tables. Now this will be my table 1, that is base table. This will be my table 2, customer details table. Product details table will be my table 3, and supplier details table will be my table 4. Okay, I divided the data like this. Now if you observe, I kept some columns as it is here. Okay, I'll just come to that point in a while. So first problem we are talking about is data redundancy, that is repetition of the data. If you are storing data in the Excel file, data is repeating, but instead of storing the data like this in an Excel format, if I create data separately as a different tables here, just imagine, just observe this is supplier details table. I'm having here my data is repeating. Basically, I have only 2 suppliers, right? Then no need of writing all the columns here, all the rows here like this. I can just remove everything. I can remove all these things. Correct? One second. I can remove all these things because here my data is not related. There what it is, I have my order ID 6. This is my customer ID, customer name. So for that particular customer, what will be my supplier ID, what will be my supplier name, and what will be my manufacturer name. If I store in one Excel form, in Excel file, in each and every row, I need to store all the data, and that supplier name or supplier ID or manufacturer name will belongs to this order ID or this customer ID, correct? So instead of that, if I create the tables like this, here I'm not having any customer details. I'm just storing only separately supplier details. So no need of writing again and again. I will just write how many suppliers are there, what is the supplier name, what is the manufacturer name. I will just write it only once. Okay. This is how we will get rid of this repetition of data or data redundancy problem in SQL or in databases. Whenever we store data in the databases, we will create tables separately. This I am not talking technically, I mean, I'm not using any technical terms here. We'll call this concept called as normalization, but whenever we start that normalization concepts, at that time only I will explain you. For now, I'm just trying to give some a little bit of idea for you. I'm not using any technical terms here. Basically, what we will do in databases in SQL, we will store data in the form of tables. That is what I said previously. So instead of storing in one big table, we will just divide the tables into smaller tables, and we will create a relationship between the tables. Okay, that will be my first table, second table, third table, and fourth table. By doing so, I cannot, I'm no need of repeating the data again and again. Correct. Here you can see, if you observe these three columns only, previously I data was repeating in the two columns or three columns, I can say. Now I am just writing simply this two rows. Correct. So how we will relate this all the tables in the sense, by using this common columns. We need to make sure there should be one common column, at least one common column between the tables. As I said, this is my table 1, right? I said this is my table 1, this is my table 2. Okay, so to get the data, to understand the data, what I need to do, what we need to do in the sense, we need to maintain common columns between the tables. So previously I had my customer name here and a customer address here. Okay, in the previous data, if you can see, order ID is 2, customer ID is 2, I have some name here. So by seeing that data, I understood everything. But now what I did, I divided this data into multiple tables, but still I can able to understand that with the help of this common column. See, let's see that. If I say what is the customer name of order ID 2. Okay, what is the customer name of order ID 2? In the sense, what we will do, I am having customer details in customer details table, this table. I'm having customer names here. Okay, now I'm asking, by seeing this table, what is the customer name of order ID 2? In the sense, I will keep one common column here, so that based on this common column, I will match this data. Here I'm having customer ID, and above also I'm having customer ID, right? So I'm saying what is the customer name of 2, order ID 2, in the sense, obviously I will see for the order ID 2, my customer ID is C2, right? I will go to the customer tables and I will see for customer ID C2, Anthony is the customer name. Correct. Still I can able to give all the answers, right? I can relate the data. Correct. Did you got my point? What we are doing in databases?
Yes, ma'am.
We will just try to keep a common columns between the tables. That's it. Okay, based on that common columns, we will relate the tables. If you can see the products table also, I'm having product ID in this table, supplier ID in this table. By using this product ID, I can understand, I can relate my products details table. By using supplier ID, I can relate my supplier details table. This thing I'm just giving you to make you understand. I'm trying to give you a little bit overview. That's it. Going forward, we will discuss very detailedly about this concept, how we are doing this and all. Okay, for now, just to explain you the limitations of Excel and how we are overcoming that by using SQL, I'm explaining you this thing. As we saw previously, this is the data redundancy, that is wastage of, not wastage, repetition of data is one of the problem if I store my data in the Excel file. But in SQL, in to get rid of that problem, again we introduce databases. In databases, what we will do, we will create multiple tables like this, so that we will use only unique information in this. No need of repeating the data again and again in tables. Okay, that by that way we will get rid of this data redundancy, that is repetition of data problem. And Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry, guys. I just disconnected suddenly. Sorry for that. So let me share my screen once again. All right. Let me continue. Okay. So I'm saying that a data redundancy problem, right? Repetition of data is, we will get rid of that problem by, using or by storing the data like this in the form, in the databases, we will store the data like this only. Accordingly, if we are getting of, if we can able to solve this problem, that is data redundancy, automatically wastage of memory problem will also get solved, correct? Because as data is repeating again and again, I will say I will face the problems called as, I will face the problem of wastage of memory kind of thing. My memory will also get wasted if I store the data, the same data again and again, correct? So by storing like this, we will get rid of this problem, this issue also, with that is wastage of memory. Okay. And next limitation is that, and this is again the very important, I can say, data consistency. I'll write here only. This is important. So data consistency in the sense, if you can see here, previously I stored my data in the Excel file, right? So suppose if I had price column, product ID column, whatever it is, or order date column, instead of writing this, if randomly or mistakenly I wrote some other data in any of one cell. Suppose I wrote hi here, instead of date I wrote hello here, like that. Mistakenly, knowingly or unknowingly, if I enter any wrong data, see, Excel is allowing me to enter, correct? Basically, product ID means we need to have only product information. Order date means we'll have only date information here. But if I'm writing anything, Excel is allowing me to write, correct? It is not throwing me any error. So whenever we are dealing with the big data or small data also, whenever we are dealing with the data in the Excel file, if we have this, as Excel is allowing us to enter any wrong data, whatever data I entered, it is just allowing me. So that will be the big drawback, or that will be the, biggest issue, I can say. When, as we are dealing with the data nowadays, as we will deal with the big data, our database, or we need one such our system should be such robust that if we enter any irrelevant data or wrong data, knowingly or unknowingly, it should throw us an error. It should say us that you are entering some wrong data, please check it, right? This is the biggest problem, right? If in Excel, it is simply allowing me whatever I write, it is just allowing me. We don't, that problem is called as data consistency. Basically, we will call that issue as data consistency, and we will get rid of that issue by using one concept in SQL, that is called as data types. Whenever we will define a tables, we will define data types over there, so that by using that data types, it will, data types in the sense, what is data types, how many types of data types are there, we will discuss detailedly once we get into our SQL concepts. But by using that concept, if I enter some wrong data, okay, for date columns, if my data type will be date. If I enter any wrong data instead of date, it won't allow me, it will throw me an error, like that. By using some concepts, not only data types, we have other concepts also. If we entered any wrong data or irrelevant data, databases or SQL will stop us. It will throw us error. Okay. This is one of the, again, biggest issues, I can say, if we store the data in the form of Excels, right? Am I clear up to here?
Yes, ma'am.
And with related to the data consistency also, we have one more point called as data integrity, but for now I don't want to touch that part. I will explain that detailedly once we will get into the SQL thing. At that time only I will say what is the issue we will face in the Excel, and what is the data integrity, how we are, basically how we were solving that issues by using SQL. Okay. And yes, these are some issues which we are facing, which we will face if we store the data in the Excel files, right? We have these issues are enough, right? Of course, if it is 5, 6 also, it is a big issues, correct? If we store the data in the Excel file, we will come across like this, we will face these issues, and that is the reason they introduced databases. We will solve all these issues by using databases. Okay, so I hope I'm clear to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Again, this is just for knowledge purpose only. I said these things, okay? Uh, because as we are dealing with the databases, we should know what is happening inside the database and why what is the need of database. First, we need to understand that, right? That is the reason I gave you this examples. This is the problems we will face when if we use Excel, and we will overcome this all these problems by using databases. That is the reason database came into picture, and that is the reason we need to understand before starting learning databases, we need to understand what is the need of database, right? That is why I explained. Now let's start. Let me open my SQL server and let me show you the user interface of SQL server, and let's get into our technical part. Okay, this is my SQL server icon. I'm just clicking it. Once we are done with the demo classes, I will show you the installation process of MySQL. Okay, so this is my MySQL. I just opened it. You can able to see something called as local instance here, right? I will show you the installation process going forward once we are done with the demo classes. Okay, so this is our local instance. We need to click here. Then this is our user interface. Actually, I already opened some files. Let me close them quickly. Basically, this is how I will provide you notes. Okay, I believe instead of giving you theory notes separately and syntaxes separately, here whatever I teach, I will teach very practically. Okay, I will use a real-time database called as Maven Movies database. That is, a Netflix kind of database. Okay, so in that we will have many tables. We will have many tables, and going forward for all our technical topics, first 2 3, as I said, as I shown you index and yesterday's class also, only 2 3 topics, first 2 3 topics to understand the basics. I will show you some basic tables like employees table, students table. After that, once we are done with all the SQL commands, once all the other concepts I will explain you by using this real-time database only. And after teaching each and every concept like this, I will upload this files for you. You will get notes and videos, right? Daily notes. You will our course is of the duration is of 35 days and course fees is of 2000. From last two batches, we are providing this offer. Previously, we used to charge 6000 for this batch, as I will teach everything by using the real-time database. But again, DurgaSoft want to give some offer. So that is the reason we are providing this course along with the real-time database for only 2000. And you will get access of daily videos up to 6 months. Along with that, I will provide you notes. You can download that notes. So once I'm done with each and every concept, I will basically like this only I will explain, and this files only I will upload it to you. In that, you can able to see in one go, you can able to see the theory part as well as the the syntaxes over there. That too I will teach everything along with the examples. If you can see here, this is joins concept, very important concept in SQL, I can say. Each and every concept I will explain with the examples. You can see this will be my query, this will be my question to solve, and this will be my answer. Like this will be my example, and this is the solution to crack that query. So like that, I will tell everything practically along with the examples. Okay, each and every class, once we are done with the class, I will upload this files only into your link and into that link. Okay, so let me close everything. That this is a previous batch notes. So yes, let's see. So basically, after opening my MySQL, okay, this is the user interface, I can say. Let me close everything. 1 second. All right, so I hope you can see my screen properly. All right, so towards the top left, you can see something called as schemas here, right? Just give me a second. I'll use my pen. See here, you can see something called as schemas, correct? Below this, you can see this is the list of databases I created. By default, whenever you install your MySQL, you can able to see only sys database. By default, that will be the database. Once we create the databases in our local this tool MySQL server, in this MySQL, once you started creating the databases, all the list of that databases you can able to see here like this. This is one, data analytics is one database, Divya is one database. That is, this is the list of the databases which I created, which I have in my system. Okay, by default you will have sys database, and once you started creating, you can able to see the list of databases like this. Okay, and whenever you install, first you will be in this administration page. You need to get into the schemas to find about to you see the list of databases. I will show you practically once I show you the installation process. I will guide you this also. So this will be our first page. Here you can find the list of databases. Okay, and we have many options. We have a menu bar here, we have some toolbar here. Okay, going forward we will learn each and every icon, but for now I will just give you small introduction and I will explain you what we needed. Okay, so basically to write SQL queries, we need to open the editor, right? So to open the editor, we have this icon first icon. As you can see, let me clear this first icon, this one will have SQL plus kind of thing, right? If I click on that, my new editor, my page will get I can able to open my page. I'm just clicking on it. See, one new file or new page will be open for me. Here only I need to write all my SQL queries. Okay, so this is how we will open. We have two options. One is this symbol, the first symbol, or else even we can go to the file menu. If I click on file, I can click on new query tab. If I click on new query tab also, this file or this tab will open for me. Either I can click this option. See, you can see whenever I'm clicking, one new file is opening for me, correct? Either I can click this option, or in file I need to open new query tab. Okay, so after opening the files like this, we will start writing the syntaxes or whatever we want. Okay, this is the first thing. And if you can see here, after opening the files, let me close this files. If you want to close, we can close like this, and this will have a cross mark, right? We can close like this. So this is one file which I open now. In this we have some options here. So first option is that you can see some folder, correct? Let's talk about second option first. After writing any syntaxes, after writing anything, if we want to save the file, we can click here. This is the save option. We can click here and it will ask us to, it will allow us to save this file in anywhere of our laptop, in any drive, any folder, we can save that files. Okay, I just click this save option, then it will allow me to save that file in our folders. Okay, and if I want to open already saved files, I need to click this first option. The first option, you can see something like folder icon only, right? If I'm clicking here, it will allow me to open any of the files. I can choose this and I can click on open. My file will get open. Okay, let me open another new query. This is the new query file or tab. So we saw about saving option already, and this next option is just opening option. If you want to open already saved files, we can click that. And the third and important symbol here, this one, third one, this is called as execute button, ignite button, this button. Okay, after writing any SQL statement, we need to execute it, right? To execute it, we will use this third icon here. Okay, this thing, to execute that we will use this thing. For now, this three things is enough for you. Going forward, if needed, I will explain about the remaining things. Okay, and this is the databases. This three, we can open the file, save the file, and execute button. And query tab, database. Going forward, we will learn each and everything. Okay,
First one is the save button.
sorry Ramu,
First one.
this one,
Yeah. No, madam. That is an open number.
open button. This is save one.
Yeah. Could just explain that how to.
Just like after writing anything, suppose I wrote anything here, You will write any syntaxes right here, select whatever it is. If I write, after writing anything, if I want to save this file, I need to click on this save option. If I click on save option, it will allow me to save that file in any of the folder. As I already opened this folder, it is showing me this folder, but you can create any separate folder in any of your drive or anywhere. If you want to save it in any of the drive, maybe downloads, documents, anywhere, you can just give one file name and you can click on save, just like how we will save our documents in our laptop. Like that only, I will click file 1 and save. It will save in that particular location. Okay, got it?
Yeah, ma'am.
So that is the save option. This is the execute button. Okay, and we will have this one more thing called as reconnect to DBMS whenever we open any new file. Suppose here what I did, I already opened my workbench. This is called as MySQL workbench. Basically, to use MySQL, we need to download MySQL workbench as well as MySQL server. I mean, only the one process, only the single process, but at that time we need to choose those two options. I will show you in the installation time. So if I already open my workbench and if I want to open any folders, I'll open from by clicking this option, right? Correct. I opened my tool, I am clicking this file option and I'm trying to open something from here. That is okay. If that is not the case, let me just go to my, I'm just minimizing this. I'll go to my folder. If I want to open directly from my folder anywhere, if for example I will sorry, for example I will after finishing each and every class I will upload my files, right? If you want to open that files, you will first download that file to your laptop, and if you just double click on that file, again you will be opened in our MySQL workbench only. But if you can see here, I can see two tabs here. Previously this one, now this file which I opened from the laptop, it got opened in unconnected tab, and this is my local instance tab which I opened previously. This is already connected to my database. Wow. If we open SQL Server first directly, it will be connected to the DBMS. Okay, instead of that, if we just double click any of the files, it will just open like this. It will open in the workbench only, but it won't get connected to the DBMS. We need to connect it first. That is the reason you can see here it is unconnected and you cannot see any databases here, right? I'm on my schema only, but I cannot see any list of any of my databases. Whereas in local instance, I can see all my databases list under schemas, correct? So first what we need to do, if we open files like that, we need to connect this to the DBMS, and this is the option here. Reconnect to DBMS, this last icon, correct? If I'm clicking on reconnect to DBMS, one dialog box will open for us. I'll just click on OK. I don't make any changes here. It just show the details of our username, password and all. So I'm just clicking on OK. Immediately you can see it got connected, and first I can able to see my administrator server page here, joins to page. I can close this tab. I got my file joins to, I got, and I got all my databases list, just how I having list here also. Maybe the file name will be local unconnected only, no problem, but internally it got connected to DBMS. Once if it got connected to DBMS only, it will show me the list of the databases. From here again I can use all my queries. If I execute this after connecting to DBMS only, it will work. Okay, and this that is the reason, this is the point here, this is the option here, reconnect to DBMS. Okay, clear?
Clear, ma'am.
So yeah, let me close this tab, and
So still unconnected, ma'am.
yeah, that will be okay, and the name, it will be unconnected only, but internally it will get connected. You can try every time, it will be like that only. If we open by our application normally only, it will show us local instance properly, or else it will be unconnected, but internally it get connected. We can execute everything, we can write anything, however we want, we can do. Okay, so yes, because you observed, right, previously it didn't show me the list of what we call databases there. Once I connected to DBMS only, it will show me the databases. I use this file normally. Okay, So this is about the user interface, I can say. Once we will create tables and everything, we will just execute that and we can able to see the output in this action output section. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's create our first database today. Okay, so I already opened one file, right? I'm creating one database today, one database now. So we need to make sure that while writing the database name, we should use the database name uniquely. First, let me write it here. And first, let me say some points here before started writing database. First thing is that we know what is SQL. SQL is nothing but structure query language, correct? And if you observe here, you can see I wrote some symbol here, right? This thing, this is nothing but comments. In every programming languages we will use comments. In SQL also I will use comments. If I write anything inside the comments, that will be a non-executable, right? If I'm writing normally SQL here, it is executable. Okay, if I write anything inside the comments, that will be non-executable. If I want to write any nodes, if I want to tell anything in real time also, if we want to write whatever we are doing, if we want to write small introduction like that, we will use comments basically in every programming languages. Okay, in SQL also we can use comments. So whatever we write inside the comments, it is non-executable. We cannot execute it. It cannot be executable thing. So like that, generally in our class, I will write all my notes inside the comments. Okay. So we have two symbols here again. One first is this symbol, that is two hyphens, or else I can use hash. If we use hash also, that is also considered as comments only. Okay. Again, we will have a single line comments. And the symbols for single line comments are first this one. Okay. Double hyphen, as I used here, or else hash. So I can use either hash or double hyphen, and I can write anything inside that. That will become my single line commits. Suppose if I am writing like this, if I am using hash, okay, if I write anything here randomly, up to that will be only one line, single line comment here. Okay, if next it won't work, in the next line if I want to write, again I need to use hash. I mean, this is a single line comment. In the same way, if we want to use comments in multiple lines, we will have something called as double line comments, or else multi-line comments, I can say. Okay, so that is nothing but the symbol is this one. Normally in other programming languages like Java also, we will use this thing only. Better I will write at the bottom. We will write first hash and then star. Inside we can write anything. Okay, I will write anything. Okay, this will be my first line, this will be my second line, and after that this will be my third line. How many lines I can want inside the comments, I will use this multi-line. This is the opening, and to close I will write again asterisk and hash. Okay, and other programming languages also, to write multi-line, basically these all comments only. Comments in the sense, if we write inside the comments, it won't execute. So if we are writing only single line comment, that is if we are writing only in one line, we can use this. Or else we can, it's our wish, if it is okay for every line, also in front of every line we can use like this. Or else if we want to write anything like a paragraph, we will use this thing to store multi-line comments. First we will give hash star star, this will be the starting, this will be the ending. In between we can write anything we want as a paragraph, something like whatever we write inside it, that will be non-executable. Am I clear, guys, this point? Okay, I'm just erasing it. Going forward you can see also how we are writing like that. First this symbol, and we'll write some code inside, and to the close I will write again asterisk and hash. Okay, this will be about multi-line comments. So, and one more thing, one more important point here, in MySQL, semicolon is optional. Okay, usually in some of the SQL's tools, we will use semicolon there to indicate whenever we see semicolon, it indicates that is the end of the line. But in MySQL, semicolon is optional. If we write semicolon is also okay. If we don't write semicolon is also okay. Okay, let's see. This points, just remember, going forward, you will understand whenever I'm started writing the code. Okay, so this is about some few points which we need to know before starting. Again, let's create a database today. So I'm just writing the comments here to write, I'm creating database first. So the syntax for database is, we will have syntaxes for each and everything here. Syntaxes in the sense, I can say some rules we need to follow, or I mean there will be the syntax we need to follow, that syntax only to do anything. For creating database, my syntax will be create database, database name. Okay, this will be my syntax. So let me create it quickly. So as this is the comment, as this is a notes, I can say I'm using quotes here. Now I'm creating my first database, that is create database. Let me give any database name. So I'm giving here DURGASOFT 4. Okay. We need to make sure our database name should be unique. As I already have some names, I'm trying to give some unique name here. Okay, I'll just give like this is a syntax, create database name, and I need to select this and I need to execute it. I said this is the execute button, right? We need to execute it, then our database will be created. You can see at the bottom in the output thing, my database created. Whenever my syntax is created successfully, we can see green tick here, or else I can see red color cross mark. Okay, now I created my database. If you can see here, there is no DURGASOFT 4. If I want to see this database name inside the schemas here, I can refresh this. I am having one option called as refresh. If I'm refreshing it, here you can see I got my DURGASOFT 4 database. Correct? This is how we can see after creating the database. Now I created my database. Inside every databases, we will have some 4 options: tables, views, stored procedure, and functions. Okay, first we will deal with the tables. So in tomorrow's class, let's see how we will create the tables, what are data types, what are different data types we will have. Maybe we'll start everything technically in tomorrow's class, like creating the tables, inserting the data and all. From tomorrow, we will learn everything technically only from here. Almost all. I gave you the introduction of SQL, MySQL today, and we created the database today. Inside that database, let's create some tables and let's insert some data over there. Okay. Is that clear, guys?
The installation part also tomorrow I will tell, ma'am.
No. Once I'm done with demo classes, I will tell the installation process. Basically, first 2 or 3 classes will be demo classes. I guess the first 3 classes. By tomorrow, we will done with our demos. Who will get registered with us? They will get one new link. Okay, immediately. Then I will show you the installation process. And again, going to from, I already started explaining technical part. But once we are done with tomorrow's demo, will be the last demo. After that, I will show you the installation process and we'll continue the classes. Okay. So this is about it. Let's meet in tomorrow's class also. Tomorrow is also again a demo class. Let's continue. Let's see how we will create the tables and insert the data over there. Okay, and let's see everything technically. As I said, I teach each and every concept by using a real-time database called as Maven Movies, or it is, I can also call it as, that is a Netflix kind of database, any OTT platform, or that kind of database. Either it may be Netflix, Prime, we have many OTT platforms, right? So if you learn every concept by using the real-time database, you can learn easily about that concepts, because we will have thousands of rows here, so that you can deal whenever you join in any company, as well deal with big data, you can able to deal with that very clearly and very easily. Okay, so that's it, guys. We are almost done with the time. I'm having another batch next. So if you don't have any doubts, I'll end the session and let's meet tomorrow. Okay.
All good, ma'am. Thank you.
This 7:35 p.m. batch number, AST.
No, now IST it's 7 to 8 is done. Next I'm having 8 to 9 Tableau class actually.
Yeah, it's 8 to 9 batch. No?
Yes, 8 to 9,
Okay.
8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
All right, guys, let's meet in tomorrow's class. Bye-bye.